Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And while we all feel good, we're also not scared to broach certain topics that we need to chat about. Let's focus on the matters of the heart. Now, it's a Tuesday, and you know it does mean that we get to chat about relationships. And there's a certain dilemma that you need to hear about. And along with certain guests that we've just brought in for the chat, you and I would like to give you something. Now, there's a certain story.
Let's unpack it for us.
Share a story, call it a case study, but here's a story.
It's an actual real story.
All right, so here it is. You can read along with me. And now this is 28-year-old female, feel uneasy about my boyfriend's friend, 25-year-old male. He seems to show interest in me, even though he has a girlfriend, a 29-year-old female. And my boyfriend and I are committed and faithful. This friend frequently hugs me, often takes his shirt off around me, and has made awkward comments and gestures like showing me what I consider inappropriate videos. He also seems casual about boundaries, like having women on his shoulders at a rave. I'm unsure if I'm overreacting or if there's an issue I should discuss with my boyfriend. Should I bring this up, or am I just being paranoid?
Hashtag player.
What? Not yet. We have to,
not yet. Sorry.
The professionals first.
Sorry, let's go to the professionals.
Yes.
So joining us this morning are professionals, HPCSA registered mental health counsellor Danielle Meyer and Daniela May, who is a family therapist, divorce mediator and parenting coordinator. Let's welcome them.
All right, yes, let's go.
We got to give them a round of applause.
Yeah, more.
This is a dilemma. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you.
Where do we start? Number one is we forgot to make you tea. But we're not going to go there. Sorry about that. Okay, so, this is, how do we even start?
Let's start with an overview.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your general kind of consensus when you listen to this dilemma filled with red flags?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, in this situation, it's very clear that there's lack of boundaries in general.
Yeah.
And so I think, obviously this female is feeling uncomfortable in the situation. So it's important to acknowledge that. And I think also this friend is just not respecting her personal boundaries at all. So I think the general overview there is, where are the boundaries?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I think it's also a case now. So what does he stand to do now? What is that first step? She's feeling a certain way. Obviously, this person is in the friend circle, the circle of trust. I don't know. But who does she go to first? Does she broach it directly with this friend first, or does she go to her boyfriend first and say, listen, this is what I'm feeling. What is the right thing to do here?
I mean, the first thing I just want to state is the obvious, is what is a red flag actually? Because I think there's a little bit of confusion in this topic about is this a red flag or not, and for who. A red flag is simple. It is anything that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Our red flags may be completely different. So does it make me feel uncomfortable? Yes. Now I have the power to do something about it. Now, what you were asking, the question of who do you broach the topic with? I think that this is also something that needs to be considered very carefully. But who is her allegiance to? What relationship is she wanting to protect here? If she's wanting to protect her relationship with her boyfriend, speak to your boyfriend about it. You should not now be worrying about the friendship that they have, because the friend clearly doesn't care. So broach the topic with your boyfriend. You're hoping that you're in a relationship where there is empathy and understanding and love and support, that you can broach the topic with the right kind of mindfulness, that it can become a discussion. The other thing is, what is going to happen if you don't broach your boyfriend with this, and then all of a sudden it comes up later and he now feels that you did not feel like you could trust him with it, or he may even feel like you were the one that condoned it. So it is something that's you have to be very careful now, because whatever you do in this kind of situation, in terms of how comfortable or uncomfortable you feel, is going to pave the way of the expected behavior going forward.
Articulated beautifully.
Yeah.
And I think that's brings you onto the boundaries within this thing. And I think if you look at the whole taking the top off in front of me, inappropriate videos being shown, etc., some people have that type of nature in them to just say, like, this is my chom. I'm going to show them what I show my choms, even though you're a female.
Maybe this person's completely oblivious to the fact of how she feels.
However, if you haven't verbalized, hey, I don't like this video, you shouldn't be showing me this, or I'm not comfortable with you taking your top off around me, if that's
Yeah.
not laid down as a marker, I suppose, for boundaries, then in that situation, where does one go here in terms of what if the person responds with, that's just how I am. I mean, you're my friend. You're dating my friend. What's going on? So how would you even broach that type of angle to the topic?
Yeah. So, look, I think it comes, like you said, is this just how this person is? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I think what's important to remember here is that it's her personal boundaries. She's feeling uncomfortable. So she needs to express or start by expressing that, listen,
Yes.
I'm clear and honest about what my personal boundaries are. Your inappropriate behavior is making me feel uncomfortable. And I think that's important to acknowledge.
Yeah.
And even so, she needs to tell, as Daniela was saying, tell the boyfriend, I actually don't like how your friend is making me feel. And in that moment, also express to the friend that, listen, in this moment, I don't actually appreciate you doing that. And that's how we start to implement those boundaries that are going to be healthy.
Yeah, I think it's interesting here because in the write-up, that we went through, she said, is she just being paranoid?
Yes.
So it's clear that she doesn't understand her own red flag, right? In this particular situation.
Yes.
And this is what we need to focus on, really,
Yeah.
for her to be able to take an active, positive first step.
100%. That's very well said. And I was going to say that this whole scenario is like a game of spot the red flag.
Yes.
And the biggest red flag that I see in it is her. So I was exactly what
Wow.
you've just said now, is that, would you like to swap seats with me?
No, I'm good here. Thank you very much.
No, so I think that she's the biggest red flag because she is the one that's being affected. Like we've just said now, everybody may be oblivious to it. So if she doesn't speak up, and she can sit with herself and think about who or what or how to bring it up, but the longer she avoids it, the worse off she is. So she is the biggest red flag in this situation for me.
Because, we can read it and initially read it and you can look at this boyfriend's friend as, the enemy in this situation, but maybe he's just an innocent kind of
Completely.
bystander and is just loving his life
And
Yeah.
within
perhaps
the friend circle.
And perhaps the boyfriend is oblivious. Perhaps he's egging the friend on. We don't know the situation.
Yeah, we
So
don't.
that is why we can't judge the situation, but we can say it is your personal responsibility to make sure you feel comfortable because life is too short to sit there in a situation that you feel awkward in.
I like that.
Well, we need to continue this conversation. There are so many permutations as to how this can give us some little notes for relationships in the future. However, Zanele, if you listen to this, what are your thoughts on it? Where's the red flag here?
Listen, I definitely agree with our lovely queen of love over there, which is honestly that if you have kind of, that uncomfortability, then I think you need to interrogate it. And for me, I'm like, there are those certain things that sometimes you feel them in your gut. And sometimes your gut is speaking to you and you just need to listen. And I think that the red flag is just at the point of her having realized that, there's these so many different instances. I think if it was once, then maybe it could be like, is this a real thing? But the fact that it is continuous, that's where we kind of need to maybe have that conversation with the boyfriend. That's what I think, Clickton family.
Thank you. You see, that's good. Good communication, and I can tell you that's communication. We should chat about this now. We'll be addressing some of your comments a little bit later with our professionals on the couch very, very soon. But
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to this rather intriguing conversation that we're having this morning. Joining us as we're taking a look and hear what you, as the viewers, had to say. We also have this morning joining us HPCSA registered mental health counsellor Danielle Meyer and Daniela May, who is a family therapist, divorce mediator and parenting coordinator, to unpack a little situation this morning. Just to give you a brief summary, we are dealing with a lady who feels uncomfortable with her boyfriend's friend, a little bit inappropriate behavior. That's from her point of view, but really is it? So we've been exploring that. There you can read on the screen the whole scenario. And we're unpacking it with our experts this morning. And we also want to hear from you, because we did receive a bunch of comments. Should we head into those, maybe?
let's go straight to first comment from social media. Let's go straight into that right now.
Let's see what we have here. Your advice. Okay. Josephine. Hello, Josephine. Thanks for coming through. It is a red flag. Tell your boyfriend, keep your distance from him. He is trouble.
Ooh. bit difficult though when it's your boyfriend's friend to keep distance at that particular stage, but we get it, Josephine. Thank you so much. Logan Heman saying, confront him in front of your boyfriend and his girlfriend in a nice way. Sometimes men don't know they are being inappropriate unless you tell them. If he continues such bad behavior, then take it a step further.
Okay,
All right.
let's take a look at another one here. Let's pull that one up quickly. Here we have Ms. Hyde. Good morning. He sounds to be respecting your boundaries as well as those in your relationship. Have a talk with your boyfriend about it, as it seems that this might be the kind of guy that feels he doesn't need to listen or to respect any woman.
I think that first respecting was disrespecting. I think there's a little typo there. Praline saying, definite red flag, redefine boundaries, and make it absolutely clear.
Okay, so this just brings us back to, okay, is this a red flag for me?
Yeah.
And what do I stand to do? Because like we said, he could potentially be completely innocent in all of this, right?
Yeah.
But let's say that he is engaging in inappropriate behavior, and maybe she is a little bit afraid to broach this topic because it is a friend of the boyfriend. How is this potentially going to play out in terms of the relationships between all of them?
Yeah. So, look, I think it's important that it needs to be addressed, whether tensions arise or not. And the reason being is that her personal boundaries need to be prioritized.
Yes.
And I think when we look at the motivations behind his behavior and what's going on,
Yeah.
it can also help the boyfriend realize why there's a need for boundary setting in the first place. And it gives the couple an opportunity to get insight into the situation as to what may be, the best solution moving forward.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of variables and factors at play here. We have the boyfriend who may be seemingly oblivious. We have the friend who's probably just, hey, I'm living life, I'm at a date, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So there needs to be a conversation around what is the red flag, as the comments were saying. Define what the red flags are and look at then implementing those boundaries.
I want to flip the script a little bit. Do you mind?
You want to flip the script?
I want to just flip the script
You
a
have
little
time to
because
flip
now
the
we are reading this whole, this whole thing, right? We're reading it for what it is.
Yeah.
Is there potentially, the way that she feels and explaining herself, expressing possible attraction to this said friend that's she is battling with based on her response there, what she wrote?
Yeah, so look, I think in terms of that, she may be in a place where it seems that she's also a little bit confused about what it is that she's feeling. Because obviously she may be interpreting the cues as, oh my gosh, this is inappropriate, this is what I'm feeling. So also, what is a frame of reference and what is a lens in this context? And that's why I'm saying, or we were saying it's so important that she first need to identify what it is that's coming up for her in terms of the whole relationship dynamic.
I love the way that you flip the script there,
Yeah.
because what it brings up for me is the best challenge to figure out what's what. Because
Yes.
now we have a relationship, a friendship, and a weird like situationship.
Yes.
And what we're doing now is if she just brings it up, we have the chance to actually pick apart the relationship and see what's what. Out of the discussion and out of the conversations, maybe disagreements, we'll now find the strength of the relationship. We'll find the strength of the friendship, because if she comes and she really is that important to her boyfriend and he has a problem with the fact that she's now got a problem
She'll
with the
cut
friend,
it right there.
he'll cut the friendship. She doesn't know, you should never ever expect somebody to cut a friendship for you. That's a whole other discussion.
that's another
But
discussion.
what I'm saying is that if it's so serious and he says, well, if you're not going to respect my girlfriend's boundaries, we're going to have a problem, there's the strength in the relationship. If he says, don't be ridiculous, that's my best friend, I don't believe you, is that the man that she wants to spend her life with, If the friend says, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way, but it's just me, I'm not interested, then the situationship is like a problem. So it kind of like gives you the opportunity to test not the boundaries, but to test the actual connections that you've got there and see how much respect there is between everybody.
It's, relationship integrity is very important, and this is what's going to bring
100%.
out, provided that everybody's feelings are validated within the
Yes.
process,
Yeah.
which is very, very
Yes.
important, number one. And then number two, I think that the biggest test is the friendship. Because if I go to my friend and I'm like, dude, you're taking your top off in front of my girl and she's not really that comfortable with it, he's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was treating her like a friend. I'm
Exactly.
sorry. If you have a problem with that, I'm your friend. I'm going to stop. that's where the integrity is going to show its face, which is so
Absolutely.
powerful for a friendship. And there won't be awkwardness because we are friends. And if we are real friends, there won't be awkwardness. If there's
Exactly.
fluidity within that, foundation of friendship, then I think that's another call that you need to make in terms of the
Totally.
people you surround yourself with.
And just a little tip is like some people don't understand how to actually approach this. So one thing that I have to say is that nobody can tell you how something makes you feel. You're the only person who can do that. So instead of saying, your boyfriend is making me feel uncomfortable, that is a problem. That's accusational,
Yes.
If you go to them and say, listen, this is how I feel. I'm not saying you're doing it or not. I just need you to understand my perspective on it.
Yeah.
It's making me feel uncomfortable. I hope that you'll understand that and maybe make the changes. They can't say they're not doing that to you because they are, because you are validating your own feelings here. And then it's not a competition, you know?
I think it's very important to,
Yeah.
for her to take a step back and recognize where she is, where does she fit into all of this now? What is making her feel uncomfortable? Karel, Kat?
Yes, I'm going to
Maybe
make some
come
food while we're talking about Uitsteens,
Yeah.
but I'm a bit hungry. But
Orzo.
I want to leave you with, there's a certain voice note that came through, and I think somebody really needs the help of these two ladies. So I'm going to leave you with that.
Thank you.
While I make
Thank you for
some
that.
food. Excuse me.
Appreciate you. Just, drop it and run. That's what Karel Kat does. But no, he's right. The voice note did come through from one of our viewers, and they really need your help. So let's quickly take a listen to the voice note that came through.
Me and my partner we just broke up and I'm very sad. Can you give me any tips, please?
Okay, so plain and simple. His partner broke up. They're no longer in the relationship. He sounds very, very sad. Yes, it's to be expected from a breakup. I don't know how long the relationship has been going on, but to help this gent.
Yeah. Look, breakups can be hard. You're obviously going through this transitional period where you're mourning the loss of the relationship. You're mourning a version of yourself that was in the relationship. So it's really important right now that he now focuses on himself, puts his mental health first, his emotional health first. And if need be, there's no problem seeking out therapy to help him as well.
And to add to that, when you say put your mental health first, what that to me means is embrace it. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to scream, scream. Don't be hard on yourself. Feel everything. Feel all the feels you need to feel. Write things down. I always say that it's so powerful to use as many senses as possible. So when I go through a difficulty, I like to take a pen and write it down. So whatever's in my mind and whatever I'm feeling, I'm writing. So I'm touching it. I'm reading it back to myself. So I'm seeing it. I can hear it when I read it to myself. Own it. Know why you're sad, because when you realize what it is that's making you feel that way, you can deal with it.
Because if you are just aware of the emotions that you're feeling with regards to grief, the healing process will be better and it'll be quicker, because if you bottle it up and you're trying to stand strong, then it's going to take you it's going to come out at certain places in your life. So thank you very much.
And there's always tomorrow, and there's new relationships awaiting around the corner.
Don't be afraid to feel the emotions. Don't be
Definitely
afraid.
not.
I love it. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate
you
it.
so much.
It was lovely. Always nice to have you on the couch with your expert advice and for our little dilemma out there. Well, I hope that maybe you've gained some insights and learned something as well. Right now, let's cook.